Hello, and welcome to 808s and Joysticks. PlayStation just did their E3 showcase, something very, very different. Very different to Ubisoft, very different to Bethesda, very different to Xbox. I like how all of the conferences so far have all been vastly different. But PlayStation was the most. I just don't know what it was. Very, very slow, and quite detailed. They really did focus on 4 games, if you really think about it. And I like the tone that they set at the beginning with The Last of Us. They had a guy playing like some type of sort of like banjo or something like that. Yeah, it was really good. Hello to anyone who's listening right now.
Yeah, it's really unlike anything that we've seen before from an E3 conference.
Yeah.
The fact that they were set up in a different setup to what they they normally set up with that, obviously the massive VR screen now.
Yeah.
And that's like their known thing in the past few years.
Mm-hmm.
When PlayStation have done a conference at E3. And now basically they're doing... they set it up with all the lights hanging from the ceiling. And we were wondering what was going on, and then just cut to The Last of Us 2 gameplay. Well, The Last of Us 2 cinematics with the same scene.
Yeah.
And that was like, okay, like, what does this mean? Does this mean that they're going to do this for all of them? We thought that might be the case. It wasn't. But still, like, the fact that they engrossed everyone that was watching and the people that were there in that environment to try and get a feel for the game, I thought was a really unique thing that we've not really seen before.
Yeah, it truly was like an experience. Like when we was watching it, it did really feel like we was in it. Like we just couldn't believe our eyes, because the game is graphically amazing, beautiful, it's flawless. The combat was seamless. Like we didn't even know what was combat, what was set pieces, and what was just random gameplay. We just couldn't tell what the gameplay was. We didn't know what was what. We didn't know if this is what always happens in the game, or if this was a particular like moment that's been set up just to show us. It was insane the way how the combat was. A massive improvement to Last of Us 1, graphically and combat wise and mechanically. Very excited to see.
It seems to be more action focused.
Yeah, it does. It does seem to be more action focused, and it's another, as we said before, reoccurring theme seems to be in a lot of these games is it's more about humanity versus versus each other now, rather than versus the, I don't know, quote unquote, I don't even know what they're called in Last of Us. I think they're called like they're called a particular name, but like we'll call them zombies for now, the infected. We didn't see any infected in this particular in this particular gameplay reveal. We just seen Ellie, who's the main protagonist now, versus...
I'm not entirely sure if there's any infected left now.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure.
Which again is like a common theme in these games that are coming out. Not like it seems to be sequels as well to the games.
Yeah, to older games that
it doesn't seem to be like a new game. It seems to be sequels. So, The Division, The Last of Us. So The Division 2, The Last of Us 2, and Dying Light 2 are all going along with that theme that the infected are now gone.
Yeah.
And this is like a year after, and well, I mean, some of them are a year after, some of them are longer than that.
Last of Us is, I think it's quite a few years after.
But you're still looking at the fact that this is like humanity fighting against each other now, rather than anything really else going on.
Yeah.
So it does sort of mean that Last of Us changes completely. Like we've just said, it's more action orientated.
Mm-hmm.
I still feel like there's a story there. Like the cinematic showed that there was obviously a story there, and we think there might be some sort of romance there now. We did see that she's now possibly a lesbian, bisexual.
Yeah, we're not
entirely sure.
We're not quite sure. We have no idea. Twitter was losing their shit about it for what reason I don't know. But we're gonna do what we did for the Ubisoft. We're probably gonna read out some tweets and we'll see what people were saying about some of these games, because there is some really funny tweets out there about this now. Yeah, so the story seems to be much that Ellie is something called a wolf or something like that now. So I guess that means that, like, she must be a part of some type of like group or something like that. I have no idea what was going on.
They sort of look like a resistance group or something like that. But there's, again, like, not much detail has been revealed regarding the story or anything like that.
To be honest, it seemed like life is kind of returned a little bit, because they were drinking at like a little bar and they were like dancing with each other.
Mm-hmm.
It didn't seem like they had much to worry about in this world.
There's just obviously the people that during the gameplay, which seemed to be like a different period altogether.
Yeah,
I don't know if this timeline.
It was like within a cutscene, they switched to gameplay. So I don't know whether if that's going to be a recurring theme. Like, you're going to be in the cutscene and you're going to have flashbacks to Ellie's years over since she's grown up. So
we don't know if that was a flashback or that was just gameplay.
Yeah.
Like, probably something that, like, it was overlooked when we were watching the trailer, but like we're not entirely sure on the details of anything to do with the story or the gameplay at this point.
No, we're not.
The only thing we do know is that the gameplay, as I've already mentioned, looks like seamless. The animations and the interactions and everything was literally seamless, in my opinion. It did look like a demo very much.
Yeah, it did.
The Last of Us is sort of set up like that in a way anyway.
Yeah. If anyone can do games like that, it'd be Naughty Dog, because of Uncharted and The Last of Us 1. So I don't put it past them to make a game that seamless, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the animations were flawless. Facial animations were impressive as well. All around, very good opener to the conference, in my opinion. Still no release date though.
Yeah, that's sort of the only downer coming out of it. There's still no release date at all. Not even like a year. So
not even a coming soon. Like, it was just
just the gameplay.
Yeah,
and I do understand why Sony want to do that, because obviously if the game does get delayed, if they have a release date, then it loses hype. Whereas at the moment, like, not having a release date, if they don't know what the game state is going to be currently, then they have like a leg to stand on if anything does go wrong. They can just be like, well, we never announced a date, so we don't have to delay it.
But that seems to be like a new common theme now, that people are just not putting release dates on trailers. We've seen it with multiple Microsoft games, and we're seeing it with all the games for PlayStation haven't got a release date, except for Spider-Man for now. That's a main first-party title that is coming this year. But the other 3 games that they focused on didn't have any release dates whatsoever. But the game seem to be very well into their development.
I believe that from what we saw, I would go for obviously Spider-Man coming out this year, but then they've got 3 big party titles to release next year now. We know Kingdom Hearts is coming in January.
Yeah.
We saw a little bit more of that during this conference.
Oh yeah, we got to discuss something about that, but we'll do that later.
We know then that we've got The Last of Us 2, Ghost of Tsushima, and Death Stranding. The Last of Us 2 seems like a game that is going to come out before Death Stranding.
You think so? Because Death Stranding was in production before Last of Us 2. I think it will come out.
From what we've seen.
Well, according to Kojima, this is according to him, Death Stranding will be before the year Akira's set in. Akira's set in 2019. So he wanted it to be in 2018. So whether that's still going to come out in 2000, we not got a release. That's
there was not even a coming soon.
Yeah, there was another game that we didn't get no release date for, but it looks like it's very close to being finished though. We did see a lot of stuff.
We saw a lot.
Yeah, so I think Death Stranding is probably very close. I'm saying like 75% done, maybe.
Oh, you're going February 22nd.
Hey, February seems to be the hot month, so maybe February. But we will, as I said, we will get to all of those. But Last of Us, very impressive. We thought they were going to be moving locations based on game trailers, but they only moved from The Last of Us to their original
I think that
dome.
makes sense. Yeah.
It would have been cool if they could move for the 4 main games, but way too much money for them in it and way too much movement for
I
the
think
crowd.
there's a big crowd that they had. I think to try and move that many people around an hour and a half 4 times,
it's too
quite
much.
a lot.
Yeah, unless I had a much smaller crowd possible, but it was massive.
Yeah,
so couldn't do that. They had it was weird. It was like a pre-show, post-show type thing where they had little talk show in the middle.
Well, they cut back while they were moving. And during that time, they announced that. Well, they were speaking about God of War, and they're talking about how social media has affected how they receive feedback on everything for the game. And basically, there's a really important thing that a lot of people are asking for, a feature called New Game Plus to come to God of War. And then we got told that currently is in development. No release date or anything for when that would be coming, but it does look like it'd be a free update coming to the game at some point. So if anyone's a big God of War fan or played the recent God of War and completed it and wants to go back and play it again, New Game Plus is coming at some point, which is good. Obviously, that means that even people buying later into it, you've got replay value there still. Yeah,
exactly. So, the fun for God of War doesn't end. It's been Sony's biggest game so far for the PlayStation. It's sold how much million, and it's only in its first month. So we're definitely going to see more of God of War. I think they've got some DLC planned for it as well, if I'm not sure. I think they do have some stuff planned for it. But I know they also have sequels as well, so whether the DLC is going to be that major, I don't know. They're probably in the pre-stages to do God of War 2 by now, because it's a very, very popular game. With that being said, though, they also announced that Call of Duty Black Ops 3
Happy feet! Wobble combo! That ain't Falco! That ain't
Call of Duty
Falco!
Black Ops 3 is now on PlayStation Plus for free.
Forgot about that.
Yeah, as a part of an announcement in with Black Ops 4. So if you haven't played Black Ops 3 and you got PlayStation Plus, I suggest you go down and download it right now, because
it's free tonight. I don't know how long
it's free for, but it's free tonight. So go and just even put it into your basket or whatever. Just make sure it's added or whatnot. You don't have to download it. It's just a good opportunity to get more free games. So
I mean, you still pay for your PlayStation Plus subscription. I'm not a massive COD fan myself.
So
I played the older Modern Warfares, but
I heard
I never actually played a Black Ops game.
The story mode is really good for Black Ops. I played Black Ops 1 and 2, but I stopped after that because I just fell out of love with COD because there was just too many of them.
Black Ops 3 is loot box filled, but it's free, so
yeah,
you can't complain. Don't buy the loot boxes.
I'll probably pay for the campaign, to be honest. I like COD campaigns. Usually pretty fun and cinematic. Also,
we didn't see any new COD stuff, did we? We only saw that.
No,
we just said pre-order.
Yeah,
Black Ops 4.
Pre-order Black Ops 4, and you get 4 original Black Ops maps.
In Black Ops 3.
In Black Ops 4, I thought it was in Black Ops 4.
In Black Ops 3, by the looks of it, from what the small print was saying.
It was in Black Ops 4.
It said Black Ops 3.
It said pre-order Black Ops 4 now, and you get these throwback maps. These maps they're all from Black Ops 1.
Yeah, I think it was Black Ops 3 though. Is it pre-order? So Black Ops 3 is on PlayStation Plus for a month. So
Okay.
that means that it's actually on for the whole month this month, not just... I don't know whether that means that each E3 we're going to get a new game now for free. Because I wouldn't mind that, you know.
Well,
I would not mind that.
Black Ops 3 is a pretty major game to be given out for free, to be honest, because that's a game that usually doesn't depreciate that much in value as time goes on. Like, it's one of them games that usually...
Well, we've had
Sometimes it
World
does.
War II since then, as well.
True.
And Infinite Warfare, I think, as well.
Also true. I don't know then.
Yeah, so according to the deal, fans who pre-order Black Ops 4 will get fan-favourite maps designed for that game on Black Ops 3. So it looks like the maps would be coming to Black Ops 3, not Black Ops 4. Whether they'll then bring them to Black Ops 4 in the future,
Oh,
I'm not
okay.
entirely sure. But
That-
they would be... So whoever pre-orders the Black Ops 4 now, you will get 4 new maps for Black Ops 3. Starting tonight, I assume.
Okay, and obviously because yeah, okay, that makes a lot more sense then. All right then, so that's confused. I don't know why Sony did that. That was a really confusing way of putting everything in that, because they showed Black Ops 4, but they didn't show 3. But you said
They
seen
did-
it
they
in a
did show
small
3.
print. How weird. All right, so Black Ops 3, you get the OG maps from Black Ops 1. You get Summit, Jungle, Slums, and
Firing range.
Firing Range.
As long as you pre-order.
As long as you pre-order Black Ops 4, it's all bullshit, really. Like, I wouldn't do that. But like, well,
It's up to you. If you're a
it's
big
like-
COD fan and you got Black Ops 3 and
If-
you want to go back and play the
if you
original
want to play
Black
the
Ops
OG
maps,
maps without like getting hacked or glitched and whatever, yeah, I suppose it is a really good opportunity. Moving on though, where we had like a little bit of, not a deep dive, but like they just spoke about the 5 games that were announced in the build up to E3.
yeah. So we had the VR game, the new Tetris game, Tetris Effect, which was the first game they announced in the build up. It looks interesting. The thing that makes me think this game might be decent is it's by the same people that made Resogun, I believe. And that game was really good for what it was set out to be, like a sort of 2D. It's like a 3D game, but set in a 2D camera view.
Yeah.
So something like Tetris Effect would work well for that. I don't know what your opinion is on that, but it's an interesting concept.
It's a really interesting concept. When I did look at the Tetris Effect game, it looks really colourful, vibrant, beautiful. Yeah, I don't know what buttons you use, or I don't know how you play it, but like it just looks really cool.
with the move controllers.
Oh, you
I'm
play
gonna
with the
guess.
move control.
I'm just guessing. It's because it's VR, isn't it? So I'm gonna guess that it's.
I don't know if you use a pad and you just sit and watch it. I have no idea what it is. They didn't really explain too much about what Tetris Effect is and how it's played, because it was one of the games that was in the anticipation for E3 rather than a game that was being focused on. But it was cool anyway. If you got a PlayStation VR, gets more games for you to play anyway. Then they didn't really talk about Days Gone. They just showed it off a little bit again. Then
gave it a release date.
Yeah, release date is
22nd of Feb. 2019.
Oh my god, yeah, this is another game that is coming out on the 22nd of February.
One of the 4 major games that are coming out on the 22nd of February.
I can't even remember what's coming out on the 22nd of Feb, but there's lots of games coming out on that. Crackdown is also coming out on that day. What else is coming out on that day?
No idea.
But anyway, there's some major games coming out all on that same day, and then February as well itself
It's packed full of games.
has a
It's
couple
packed
more
full.
games coming out. There's another really interesting game called Twin Mirror as well. We don't really know much about that.
I believe that's by the creators of... I think that's by Don't Nod. The creators
As
of
well?
Life is Strange. I believe so, yeah.
They're working hard there.
Yeah, because when it was announced, I think everyone thought this was Life is Strange. Obviously, we never got Life is Strange 2 in the end. But,
Yeah, it's from... Yeah.
But yeah, they, obviously just coming off the back of releasing Vampire the other week, then they announced the Adventures of Captain Spirit, which is a free game coming out in 14 days, so 2 weeks from now.
Yeah, June 26th.
100% free. Not sure how long the game is, but either way, like, it's a free game that you can go and play, and it's going to be a good experience nonetheless.
It is also supposed to be a prelude to the new Life is Strange as well. That's what the dev said. I don't know how much it will be a prelude, but pick it up if you'd like the Life is Strange universe. We also seen a little bit of Ghost Giant, and then we seen a little bit of Beat Saber as well. Those are both VR games, both very interesting games as well.
Yeah, so Beat Saber's like a rhythm game with lightsabers, isn't it?
Yeah.
It looks extremely hard.
It looks difficult. You're going to have 2 move controllers, I guess, for that as well. Ghost Giant, I don't know how that's going to work in VR.
It seems to be some sort of like Hand of God element. It's made by the creators of Fee, a game that came out last year, I believe, on... I think it was through... I'm not sure if it was through EA.
Yeah, it was through EA.
So it was published through EA, and it was like a sort of side-scrolling Zelda-esque action-adventure game. Art style was very like abstract and unique. It did get very good reviews. I will probably pick the game up at some point because it did look interesting to play. But yeah, this is from the creators of them. The art style looked similar in like a cutesy way, but without like the abstractness. So a little bit more favourable to something like Animal Crossing or something. It did look like.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure if this is like a side-scrolling platformer or not.
It's
or
not
like puzzle elements to it.
What are you talking about? You talking about Phil? Ghost Giant.
Talking about Ghost Giant.
Ghost Giant seems to be like some type of like top-down. It's kind of like Goddess a little bit. I don't know if you ever played.
I feel like it was more like
it seemed
a side-scroller.
It seemed like what do you call that that view? Is it isometric?
Yeah,
it was like kind of like tilted a little bit, like a tilted view. You see what I mean? Like how it kind of comes in like at a corner angle.
So it basically is a... Yeah, so you're all-powerful companion for lonely boy Louis as he embarks on a grand journey. The world becomes your sandbox. You can open buildings, uproot trees, and move vehicles with your hands.
So it's a third-person game
where you're consciously aware of how you loom over the landscape. So it does seem like a little bit of a God game, given that, with an Animal Crossing vibe.
Yeah.
With a bit of adventure. Like, something that's like an older sort of top-down RPG, maybe reminiscent of like Zelda or Pokemon, maybe. It's got the same like gameplay style as in top-down wise, not all the same RPG elements, but gameplay wise, when you're looking at it, like you've got that, and then you've got a bit of the God element to it as well. You can pull stuff up. It looks interesting.
Really, like it really is. It's giving me Goddess, like black and white and things like
black and white.
From Dust.
I'm feeling black and white.
It's giving those kind of vibes off.
It's a little bit annoying that it's only coming to VR because it does seem like quite an interesting game.
Well, I hope it comes like traditionally, because I feel like it could probably work very well on mobile and things like that. But I'm thinking it's a PlayStation VR exclusive, so it's not coming out anywhere else. But that was it really for the hype announcements. Also Destiny 2 for say I don't even know what that was really about. It was like an expansion pack, I think, coming September the 4th.
There did seem to be some of the details. I think apparently they're going to put a PlayStation blog up, so if you're interested in that. But I think Destiny sort of... So we didn't really get that announcement from Activision that Destiny was going to move off and Bungie were working on anything new either, did we?
No, we didn't get that, but we know that is happening though, so it's a bit...
We're just unaware of what is... There's a lot of stuff that was rumoured and is still unannounced.
Destiny's a mess. Like, I don't know what's going on over there, like, because they're releasing this on September the 4th, but what is it really? Because I don't really know what it means. Like, I don't know if it's an expansion pack. I don't know if it's a brand new game. I don't know what it is.
It should be an expansion.
It should
pack.
be an expansion.
Yeah, I believe it is an expansion. It's I think it's just like a slightly darker take on the Destiny like universe.
There's a guy called Cade 6.
Little bit of a story trailer is what we were given.
£40. That must be the full game, you know. That can't be. Tom,
that's a download.
It can't be retailing for 30. Nah.
DLC for Destiny normally does retail at about £35 to £40.
That's disgusting. Don't support.
Although to be fair, with that you do get a lot of content. Not that I'm saying you should sell DLC for £40, but you are getting a lot of content in that.
Barely? You barely get any content in there? What, you get a couple of exotic weapons? No, bun that, man. I'm sorry, I'm not deep. If that gameplay is not longer than 4 hours...
It's a whole new story mode.
Yeah, we'll see, though, if it's going to be... Because the story mode wasn't even that long, you know, in the original Destiny 2. That's disgusting. I'm sorry, £40 is way too much for an expansion pack. It's not World of Warcraft. It's not. I can't believe it. People can't be paying for that. You all played yourself. Alright, let's move on to more wholesome things anyway. Put the air horn on, Tom. Ghost of Tsushima.
I'm excited for this game.
That shit was lit. I don't know if you want to talk about it.
So, again, we had like the same sort of intro as The Last of Us.
Yep.
This was the second sort of big game we saw after this break. We cut back to the conference, and they're in a different conference hall this time. And we see a guy at the front dressed in
kind of samurai wear.
Yeah,
it's like traditional. We don't want to like
traditional.
Offend,
traditional sort.
We don't want to offend anyone, but like it's like whatever traditional Chinese wear that was. He had like a straw hat on and everything. Yeah.
Playing what did look like a traditional Chinese instrument, sort of like a bamboo, flute. And he was playing the song that was playing in the trailer, and then it cut to the trailer, and we saw. Character come in with a horse. Not really sure what to expect from it. Obviously, Sucker Punch aren't used like they don't usually make these sort of games, so we both weren't expecting it. And then it cut off to like the landscapes, and the landscape looks incredible in this game. And again, like a lot of people have been saying, the color palette and everything, the way that the trees, like the colours of the trees, the red falls against everything else.
The colour palette was insane. Like, and plus when you like compare like the sky and the lighting and everything to like all of the surrounding area, I don't know how they created such a beautiful looking game. I don't know what engine it's running on, but these are the guys that made Infamous. So I'm thinking that it looked like a samurai movie when we was watching it. It just looked so like simple, but like so powerful. It was weird because like there was certain sections where it was like an action game, and then certain sections it was like a fighting game, and like
Yeah.
they like broke the game down. There's a stealth game, like then it's like looking like Tenchu. You could like grapple hook and run around on like a roof and stuff like that, and it just looked like one seamless story game. It didn't look like it had a HUD or anything like that. It was just you.
Yeah, that's what I noticed as well. There was no sort of
There was
UI on the screen.
Yeah, it was just
no HUD.
It was just you.
But it looked nice. Like the lighting was pretty incredible at some points. Like the sun really sort of shone through when it was a sunset, and you could see the difference in the lighting when that was happening.
Yeah, like through the individual leaves and stuff. I don't know how they did. It's amazing.
And we saw things like Mongol invasions.
Yeah.
Basically, like you are obviously fighting some sort of cause against them, and to try and stop them from taking over. By the looks of it,
yeah.
We saw that you had a companion. You're saving someone, which meant that we got to see some of the stealth features and the grappling hook during that time, like the rope grapple. And then it cut to sort of like a fight, didn't it?
Yeah.
And that looked very much like a fighting game. The one-on-one fight, it was just like a side-on view.
Yeah.
And you had the lovely scenic background in the back with the sun shining through like the sunset.
It literally looked like a film.
And that just looked like a film.
Yeah. It was so crazy how they did that, and the combat was really, really good. Like it looks like
very smooth combat.
Yeah, it looked like they properly studied like samurai, like the swordsmanship, and they probably studied samurai films and how a sword actually like goes in there. It looked great. Well,
they did say after. So we watched like a little bit of the stuff after because we weren't sure when the show was finished as such. And we did watch a bit of the interview with the Ghost of Tsushima developers or directors, and they did say that they had been watching a few samurai films to sort of get influence on stuff.
Yeah, to see how like how a body moves when they're like swinging a sword, and like how the sword moves and stuff like that, just to make sure it's so accurate to the game. And obviously all this research is paid off because everything is beautifully done. I'm really excited for that game. Yet again, this is another problem with the Sony PlayStation conference. No release date again.
Yeah, but I this is like the first time I've seen this game anyway, so it looked pretty polished to be at that stage.
Yeah.
It did look like it might just be the start of the game anyway, so it could be like not that far in development.
No, it said chapter 9 at the beginning, so it looks like they're well into development.
So again, I'm not entirely sure if a release date is needed for this. Obviously, you have Spider-Man coming out at the end of the year.
Yeah.
I feel like PSX is the time where they're going to announce some sort of release date for one game. And I feel like they're going to save at least the 3 games for next year, if not split them out over the next 2 years. And I think that would make sense. Like, they have to try and drag out their first-party titles as much as they can to sell consoles. Obviously, God of War has already been this year. If they brought out like Last of Us 2, Death Stranding, Ghost of Tsushima, and Spider-Man and God of War in the same year, is a little bit of like overload, and people aren't going to be able to buy all those first-party games. And the thing with Sony is they would want people to buy all the first-party games. That's why they bought the console.
Yeah, that's
they
true.
hope so. They want to try and make them as accessible for people as possible.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, talking about that, we did see a new game from Remedy. It was called Control. We didn't really see too much gameplay.
No,
it was more just a confusing trailer. But it did look like their answer to Quantum Break, as you were saying during the conference.
Yeah, it did just look like a Sony's content. It looked like Xbox had Quantum Break. You're gonna come over and make a version for us, because it did look like that, really, didn't it? It looked exactly like Quantum Break. She had some type of like time mechanic. She could levitate. She could like throw things at people. Obviously, the game's called Control. It looked like Quantum Break. I'm not really that excited for it because it doesn't really look that.
We didn't see too much about it.
Like aesthetically, it looked impressive, but like story and the mechanics, I'm kind of sick of all of that stuff now. Like there's been a lot of games like that now. I mean, you could control things and stuff, but I think the story looks interesting at least. Like I would like to know what it's about. But that's 2019 according to Remedy Games.
We saw 2019. That was all that we saw. That doesn't mean that anything is coming there. Like we're not sure if that will come in 2019. We know that games get delayed all the time. Days Gone was meant to come this year. It's got delayed until next year. Yeah. Now it's got a final release date, but anything with a year is normally hesitant to it coming out in that year anyway. And the fact that we didn't see too much may hint that there's not a lot of development gone into the game yet.
Yeah, we could well see that at the tail end of next year. We could really see that, like, holiday season, rather than, like, at the beginning. And then we went on something a little bit surprising. I didn't expect Sony to be the one showing this off in particular.
It's Mouse Simulator 2019.
Mouse Simulator. Tom, drop sirens on the wall. They're playing with us, you know.
Oh, wait, you want the air horns?
We want the air horn.
Mouse Simulator 2019.
Mouse Simulator 2019. You know, I heard it here first, you know. Sony ain't bringing first party games that people really want. Nah, okay, we're taking the piss. Do the drum roll, Tom.
I don't have the drum roll set.
Okay, we don't have the drum roll no more.
Give me a
don't,
minute.
man.
We can get the drum roll.
We're getting the drum roll. While we're here anyway, check out 808s and Joysticks on all of our social medias. You got the drum roll?
I got a drum roll.
Okay, drum roll.
Is it? I don't know if you're ready.
I'm ready.
You ready?
I'm ready.
You ready?
Resident Evil 2, the remake. I think it might be a Sony exclusive as well.
There's a chance they could come to PC.
Yeah, chance they could come to PC, but it's looking to be a Sony exclusive for now, maybe. It looks like a very impressive remake as well. It looks like it's built from the ground up. New mechanic, new camera as well in Resident Evil 2. This remake everyone has been waiting for quite a while now.
So it looks like a Resident Evil 4 sort of camera styling. Like
they took the Resident Evil 4 style, put it on top of Resident Evil 2, upgraded the assets, made the game.
The assets look like it still holds that
like gritty kind of like
dated,
kind of like
you could tell.
Yeah,
it's got like the arcade vibe to it.
Kind of that low poly, but not.
But it looks polished now. Like it looks HD. It looks polished. I'm not gonna lie. The first time we saw because obviously the trailer started off in the point of view of a mouse.
Yeah,
and we were confused. And then obviously the mouse got killed. It showed you that, but then it showed you a zombie or a
human,
a dead, I don't know, an infected person, whatever they want to call them in different games.
I think it's they're zombies in Resident Evil.
And basically, I thought this was Overkill's Walking Dead game, but it turns out it isn't. It was the Resident Evil 2 remaster and remake. But that shows obviously like the detail put into this remake, that it looks in a trailer as good as possibly like one of the brand new zombie games that is coming out.
Yeah, exactly. It looked very, very well done. And I don't know, I just don't know what to say for it, but I just know that January the 25th, 2019, it's coming out. Not much was really like shown, like much of the game, except for like typical scenes that we've already seen. If you play Resident Evil 2, you would know you've seen these scenes before, like in very, very like low quality versions of those scenes, like, but now it's in HD. I think the voice acting's even been redone as well. So it looks really cool. What we got next? I don't know what did they debut next?
Next was a game from Squanchy Games. I think this is like one of my most anticipated games now, because I wasn't aware of this before. But Trover Saves the Universe, featuring Bathman or Bathtub Guy. It's made by Justin Roiland, one of the co-creators of Rick and Morty. Squanch Games has been like massive for them now. They did Accounting VR, Accounting Plus as well, which was a PlayStation VR exclusive.
Yeah.
So obviously they have some sort of deal now with PSVR. Trover Saves the Universe does look like it's going to be a PSVR exclusive for now. There is also PS4 gameplay. But there's a PSVR mode in the game, but it does look like it's going to be a PlayStation exclusive for now.
Yeah, it said, it just said debuting exclusively on the PlayStation 4 and PlayStation VR, so we're assuming that it's going to be on there for maybe timed exclusive. Who knows for now?
The game looked... it looked pretty good, though. It looked like a light-hearted sort of platformer, action platformer, 3D platformer. Doesn't like we know with Justin Roiland games and a lot of his content anyway, not a lot of it takes itself too seriously.
No, it doesn't.
And it looks like it would be like a fun game to play, like just in general for the whole, like the assets, the voice acting, the weird art style that's going on in the game, and all the stuff that like comes out of the creative minds that are, like work on these games. I don't know if you've played Accounting.
No, I haven't played it.
Accounting is like a hilarious game to play in VR. It's weird. Like, there's no doubt in that, but it's got that humour that you don't get from many other different games, or sort of media in that sort of sense. So it's quite a unique thing that is coming, and they're not normally too expensive. I think this game will probably range for around £25, and I don't think that'll be too bad. Like, I'd like to pick it up for something like that.
I did think maybe like £20 to £25 would be,
especially with the enjoyment you could get out of it.
Yeah, exactly. And plus, if you like, us missing Rick and Morty, like this is like a chance to like basically hear the same voices in a different type of like setting. So I'd say you're gonna pick it up if you're a Rick and Morty fan. It looks pretty funny, so I will go with that. But we've got some real fire.
Oh, hot, 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 hot.
So previously, drop the Illuminati. Previously on 808s and Joysticks. We spoke about Square Enix and how they had nothing to show off. And we was thinking, this is interesting. Why don't I have anything to show off? Why haven't they showed anything? Now we know why. So PlayStation shows off a totally brand new side of Kingdom Hearts that we haven't seen yet. It's a Pirates of the Caribbean world, which it has been in previous Kingdom Hearts game, but this looks like next level. I said Sora, he was on ships, he was taking over ships, he was fighting with his Keyblade on the ship. It looked crazy. It looked wild. I don't know why Square Enix couldn't do more for their own game.
I don't know what their conference was about still, because we've seen brand new content at the Xbox show, the Sony show. We've seen new content at Japanese shows before, the Toy Story World and Monsters Inc. World, and Square Enix, the publishers, did a conference and we didn't see any new content out. We probably saw like 5 seconds of new content in trailers, but it was like mashed up trailers. This was just a brand new trailer altogether, wasn't it? Like, absolutely brand new. keeping the same song throughout most of the trailers, though.
Yeah.
And I think I like that. Like the soundtrack does sound good for this game again. Kingdom Hearts are known for having
Good
decent soundtracks. And it just sounds like this game's gonna have a good soundtrack again as well. We already said the gameplay looks crazy, but I just want to reiterate, like, the gameplay on this world just looks like insane. It does seem like they've pulled out all the strings for the gameplay for this game. It has calmed my fears down a little bit that we weren't going to see anything after Square Enix, and we thought maybe the game's going to get delayed again. 29th of January does look like it does look like it will come out on that date.
It looks like set in stone, and also another thing just to go along with it to confirm is actually coming out. Drum roll.
Are we doing the drum roll?
Yeah. The Kingdom Hearts package. So what this essentially is, first and foremost, rest in peace, Tom, because he's already bought 1.5 and 2.5 and 2.8.
To be honest, I knew this was going to happen, but I was not waiting for Kingdom Hearts 3 to get a release date before I bought Kingdom Hearts.
We didn't even know Kingdom Hearts 3 would come out in our lifetime, so we had to get it how we had it. So 1.5, 2.5, 2.8, and 3 is going to be all in one big gaming package. So it's probably going to be like 3 discs or something like that.
And a 0.5 as well, I believe. Yeah, I didn't put that down, but 0.5 is included with the 2.8.
Yeah, it's also included.
I think it's 0.5. Might be 0.8. Who knows? I've lost track of like the numbering system. Whatever
they're doing, but it's the full gaming package for all the Kingdom Hearts game in one. If you're a Kingdom Hearts fan like me, I'm probably going to get it because I don't have the other ones on PlayStation 4. But I do have them on original disc on PlayStation 2. Obviously, I can't play those really on the PlayStation 4. I would like to play the upgraded graphics version, the more upscaled version on the PlayStation. Plus, it's got overhauled UIs as well, which will probably make it easier to play the game.
Not the original ones.
Not the OGs.
No, just 2.8.
Just 2.8. It's got overhauled graphics. Oh, okay.
2.8. It's got the new HUD that will be displayed in 3. But the original still have the old. But it's good for nostalgia effect that you go back and play with the old menus.
Yeah.
That's how I remember the game, and to be honest, that's how I'd want to play it, because it's not that old. That's how I'd want to play the game. And it's been remastered.
Yeah.
It's just the UI that's not changed too much, and that's not that important.
No, it's not. It's not. But yeah, just for anyone out there, it's out now for pre-order if you want to get it. But really do need to pre-order it. Not really. If you want to, and you want it I guess on the day, you can go and get it. But I'm pretty sure you'll be able to pick it up quite widely available.
And if you pre-ordered Kingdom Hearts 3 5 years ago, then sucks to be you right now, because you missed out on this deal.
Well,
unless you probably cancelled that order 5 years ago, didn't you?
Yeah, you probably cancelled it. You probably thought it was never coming out, but guess what? It's finally coming out. So,
although if you didn't cancel that order 5 years ago, on the 29th of January, you're going to see a game turn up at your door and 40 quid come out your bank account and not know what the hell you bought.
You're just going to be could it be? Is it really Kingdom Hearts 3? Yeah, so look out for that. Right, so now we're about to get into something real serious. The time has come. Kojima-san has finally blessed us with Death Stranding gameplay. It was just as emotional, just as confusing as anything else he's ever dropped in his life. But one good thing we did see a lot of gameplay, and Kojima himself did confirm that it was all running on a PlayStation 4 Pro in 4K with the Decima engine. So everything you did see was in engine.
Yeah, boy!
And that's good for us because the game looked really cool, really confusing. We have no idea what's going on still in the story. I'm starting to get a little bit sick about that, but
I have no idea if there's a story at this point.
it could just be an open world. It could be another shared world. I don't know what's going on. There was a lot of traveling. That's all I know. There's a lot of traveling, a lot of traversing the land. You also wasn't just Norman Reedus. He was also another person as well. Yeah, I don't know if you noticed that. Yeah, he was another character as well, another guy. Yeah, so
all I noticed was they seem to be carrying a lot of boxes. Right?
a lot of boxes. Yeah,
it's basically like box balance simulator because you have to walk over like a. That was like the most important part for me. You're walking over in like a little tightrope over that cliff edge. To get to the other side, balancing like 70 boxes on your back at once. Like, it takes some skill to do that.
A couple of things as well that I did notice. One time the character was carrying also a body on its back as well.
Yeah, I noticed that.
Which was a little bit like scary, and also the main character Norman Reedus, who's also known as Sam, said he is a delivery. Like, he just delivers. He's like a delivery man. But that's what a porter is anyway. Like, they deliver things.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess the main objective of the game is to maybe deliver certain things to certain areas. I don't know how true that is, but whatever these packages are, there's different people who deliver different things, because we are introduced to a new female character who I think is a protagonist, because she seems to be on your side. Well, she seems to be, but she seems a little bit scary and creepy. She has like this special suit on, and it says delivery on the side as well, but it says special delivery. So I don't know if she's got some type of like other type of things to deliver. Who knows? I ain't suggesting anything. I don't know what it means. We don't know what it means. We seen some woman at the end of the trailer on the same beach as trailer number 1. We have no idea how this all goes full circle, but
I think that was his dead wife.
It's supposed to be his wife, because there's a picture.
We saw the picture earlier on.
Yeah.
I'm just going off the fact there was a blonde woman in the photo, and she was blonde, and
kind of looked like her.
It could kind of look like her. And we know that they're using a lot of actual like actors for this. So it could be. We don't know. We're gonna have to wait another year to find out.
Yeah, because this is another game. Yet again, Sony did not announce any release date, and we thought we really was going to get a release date for Death Stranding this time around, but looks like it's not ready just yet.
I called it November 25th.
Tom's saying November 25th. I'm saying I think it's still going to come this year.
2023.
I think it's still going to either come this year or the top end of next year. I'm hopeful, because the game looks very done in my opinion, and I heard Kojima is they've never seen production go like this fast in the history of Sony. So
I'm just curious, like where did Mads Mikkelsen fit into that whole thing that we just saw? Because when the first trailer we ever saw, it looked like zombies, and we're seeing these spirits all the time now, and you can't breathe around them.
Well,
and I'm still trying to work out that.
It wasn't like zombie. It was like skeleton men. Yeah, they're like skeleton men. So I don't know when that part of the story gets in there. Like, also, where was Guillermo del Toro? Where does he fit into all of this as well? We still have so many questions. The game itself is so cryptic and mysterious. To be honest, Kojima could be trolling us. That might not even be the real game. Knowing him, he's done this before. He made Metal Gear Solid 5 a totally different game called The Phantom Pain. He wore a mask and all sorts of shit before. We could be getting trolled because it looked like a walking simulator for ages, and then the story started heating up a little bit. Something to do with I lend you my hand in death and all sorts of stuff. Like,
there's a lot of hand action.
Yeah. It was a lot to do with deaths and hands, and they spoke a little bit more about the time fall again, which makes people old and die. yeah, it was insane. But that being said, just a quick update, Tom. Sony tweeted out a timetable tomorrow at 3 p.m. PDT, was Pacific time. They're doing a Death Stranding talk with Kojima for an hour. So we probably won't.
So maybe we'll get to find out what the hand
we'll get to find out what that is. We won't be covering that because I don't know what time that is, but we won't be covering that probably. We're covering Nintendo, but we shall see what that is actually going to be about.
I mean, I got to sleep, but 11 o'clock, yeah, I'll be in bed still.
Yeah, we won't be covering that. Tom will be in bed and I'll be going back to my house. But Death Stranding, very interesting. Kojima, one of my favourite game developers. He's the reason why I wanted to be in the industry. So I'm excited to see. Looks like it's a very stealth-heavy game as well. That's what you said. It
does look very stealth-heavy. From the gameplay that we've seen, mainly in the areas where we see this I'm going to call them the spirit people.
Yeah.
Because I had no idea what they are.
I don't know what they are.
We've seen them in a few trailers now. The invisible hands that come and you can't breathe near them.
And the baby's really important by the looks of it as well.
Yeah, they seem to be using like babies as a power source in this alternate universe. I'm not sure how ethical that would be in our current world, but I don't know. It's up to them if. But we don't know. Babies are a viable source of.
We don't know if I have a theory that the baby is a lifeline, so you be reborn as the baby every time. That's what I'm hearing. That's why you can't die.
We've sort of seen this in a trailer.
Yeah,
sort of.
Where the baby came back out of him.
Yeah,
and he was reborn again, and then he had a handprint on him. So every time you die, apparently you get another handprint on you. So there's a lot of layers to the game we still don't know much about. So we just have to see.
I do think if anyone would come up with something like that, it would be Kojima.
Yeah, it would.
That would be a Kojima mechanic.
Yeah, definitely.
So I wouldn't put it past that being a thing. Although I'd still ethically wise, I'm not sure where the game's going, depending on that. Obviously in PT or Silent Hills, we had a half-born fetus in the sink crying that. Kojima's shown that he basically doesn't care about stuff like that in the past.
Tom, playing Metal Gear, yeah, he doesn't give a shit. There was an audio. Remember in Ground Zeroes where you heard Paz getting raped and all sorts of stuff on audio. See, there's been some very explicit stuff in his games, a bit turbulent. So I'd expect nothing from him. He's a madman in it. So
could this be probably the most something probably we never thought about? But could this be the most controversial game he's come out with yet? Considering that he's now producing it on his own. Yeah. He's obviously producing it with Sony, but this is his company now, his production company. He's not under the thumb of Konami or anyone, even though he did get freedom there before. Obviously, he didn't get all the freedom he wanted.
Yeah. Because apparently this is the game that he's always wanted to make, according to him. So, I don't know. We'll have to see more about that. Out of nowhere, randomly, Neo 2 got announced. Yeah. I don't really know much about Neo 1, but I know that there's a lot of feudal Japan games coming out lately, as it seems to be a big trend at the moment.
A lot of people seem excited for this game.
Yeah, because Neo 1 was really popular.
It's meant to be good. Again, not had the chance to play it like this. It is saturated for games in that sort of genre, and everything at the moment.
The kind of Souls-esque, genre. But Shadows Die Twice is also coming out, which is looks like a better version of Neo. So I wonder how Neo 2 is gonna. I feel like they just was hey, we've got to get splash screen out and respond to this. Called up Sony hey, we've got Neo 2. Do you want to put it on the screen for us? They were yeah, sure, because there was no gameplay. Just a logo, and that was it.
I do feel like this was a thing that was being announced anyway, but Yeah, it was
Yeah, I'm
like
just taking the piss.
a little bit out of place, but I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. We'll see next year.
Yeah, we're indifferent about it.
Coming from that though, we kept seeing like little snippets in between a lot of the trailers of people playing musical instruments, like animated people playing musical instruments. And this is obviously from a game that we've known about for a few years now. If you're not aware, it's from the game Dreams, so they were displaying what can be made with Dreams. And after the conference, they did actually show some stuff from Dreams, and that game looks interesting. We're discussing this.
It looks like it'd be very good to make prototypes of game levels, any concepts that you have. It looks like it'd be great to make art in.
Even like, not even prototypes of game levels, but you could literally make game levels in it for the people to play. That's the whole concept of the game, was to make it experiences as well. But Media Molecule, the people that made Little Big Planet, are working on this now. Obviously, very similar to Little Big Planet in the creation aspect. What we see further than that, we're not entirely sure. We did see the fact that you could build a level in co-op by the looks of it. So, for example, if you and your friend wanted to build a level, we only saw 2, so we're not sure if it's more than 2 at this point, but co-op wise, you can build a level together.
Yeah.
Number 1, like, that's good because you can share ideas. Number 2, you plan it out together. And number 3, big time saver when you're trying to create something, you're possibly a big level, like less work, half the work for yourselves.
Yeah.
In the long run, that's probably good, especially if you're into doing stuff like this. Co-op for creative games and stuff where you can create stuff is always a big benefit. Stuff that's quite looked over a lot of the time for some of these games.
Yeah.
And a lot of people in the communities do call out for it, but no one really acknowledges it.
No.
This, though, will probably be like a big thing when the game finally does release. Another thing is we heard that beta is coming this year.
Yeah, it's coming this year, so that means game must be imminent, maybe next year.
I'm thinking like next year, starting next year.
Yeah.
But that does mean that we've got beta coming though for Dreams, a game that's been in the work for a long time, and definitely be interested to see if there's an open beta and we can pick it up and play with it, because I'd be interested to see what is possible within the game, even in its current state. If they give you limited assets, like, see what you can do. I have a feeling they constantly update it as well with certain stuff, to give you more assets to go and create stuff. I don't feel like they'll follow a DLC template, but I'm not entirely sure on that. We'll just have to wait and see. And then from that, we saw the last of the 4 major games, Spider-Man.
Yep. Spider-Man looked incredibly fluid. As I said before, Spider-Man is a very highly anticipated game. It is one of Sony's biggest first-party titles, which is a third-party licensed title, but it looks like the ultimate Spider-Man game. It's anything that you could have wanted from Spider-Man. It's open world, it's got web slinging, it's got great set pieces, good cinematics, great graphics, good storyline by the looks of it as well.
Yeah, we did see a lot of villains in this trailer. There's 5 villains, I believe. The ones I can remember are Rhino, Scorpion, Vulture,
Electro,
and another one, but I can't remember who. And then it cut to the ending to what looked like it could be a main villain overall, of some sort.
Yeah, the overall villain, which...
Or maybe like someone that's helping.
Yeah, or a savior.
We don't know. We never saw anything past that point.
All we know is that Spider-Man knows who this person is. So...
My first thought was Iron Man, because of the fact that we know the Iron Spider suit is in the game.
There. Ooh.
And there was light come to the screen.
My thoughts, it was going to be like
It's doubtful there's going to be Iron Man.
I thought my thoughts was it was going to be the Green Goblin or Hobgoblin. It's going to be like Harry, because that's his friend from high school, and you would have seen him and be like, oh damn, it's you. Like either that, or they could totally flip it on its head. It could be someone we have not really thought about, because it's the Marvel universe. At the end of the day, they could pull anyone out if they really wanted to.
Well, Spider-Man has a lot of enemies as well. Still.
Yeah, it does. So, we're looking forward to that. I think we've spoke quite a lot about Spider-Man in the past. It looks great. It's coming this year. Can't wait to get my hands on it, to be honest.
Yeah, it's coming October. Can't remember the exact release date. I think it's October 16th, but I'm not entirely sure. The 7th of September, sorry. So
it's even earlier.
Way before that. That seems to be Sony's like flagship for the end of the year. A little bit before Christmas, but being a Spider-Man game and then having Red Dead come as well, like they had to get it out before that, and then Red Dead's going to come. I don't think that anything else is really going to be like a big game for Sony after that, because of the fact that a lot of people are going to be spending money. They've already spent money on God of War.
Yeah.
You then factor in something like Spider-Man and Red Dead Redemption. Only sort of like 3 games are like what people would buy. 3 main games is what the typical consumer would buy within a year. Even less a lot of the time. So Days Gone obviously then coming out in February. Pack month still, but February 22nd that's coming out. So they can tie themselves over for Christmas. They'll probably do like bundle deals and cut price deals just to sell a few more PS4s. And then obviously Days Gone is coming, and they might announce some release dates at PSX. So we don't know. We could see another game coming before that, but it's pretty unlikely, in my opinion.
Yeah, it is. I think it is pretty unlikely, but as I said, there is development panel tomorrow, so we may get some new information on these main 4 games. It looks like we're going to get like a more deep dive with the developers into these 4 games for an hour each. So hopefully we get some new info. If we do, we will update all of that in our podcast episode. Any new information that comes out. I think that was it for Sony, except for we also got a new From Software VR game, which looks very different from anything that they've ever made before, called Dessine, or Dessine. I think it's French. Not quite sure what it's about. We're just seeing like something to do with like a girl who is a fairy, or grown up as a fairy. There's a dead flower on the side of the table, which grew into like a very live flower, like revitalized. We ain't sure what that is even about. No release date or anything, but looked interesting.
I'm not sure if that symbolizes anything. Again, no release date, like you've just stated. Common theme throughout this conference, but overall, I think it was a pretty solid conference. A lot of gameplay, which is always what I like to see at a conference. Release dates don't bother me as much, as long as I get to see the game is being made and progress is being made on it. I'd much rather see gameplay on a game than hold out for a release date that probably isn't going to come, because that just builds up hype that is then let down. Whereas by building up hype and not setting a release date, people still keep that game in the back of their mind, but they know that it's not going to come out at some point, so I don't have to like try and plan for it.
I understand.
But sticking with like a sort of theme of rating the conferences out of 10, what would you rate Sony out of 10?
If I was solely basing this just purely off the main 4 games, I'm not thinking about like release dates or anything, I probably would have gave it like a 9 out of 10. But I'm different to you.
But we gotta do an overall opinion on the whole conference.
I think the whole conference was good, in my opinion. They had some trouble here and there, like if we're taking into like like the technical problems we had and stuff like that, there was some type of like hijacking audio that was coming out of nowhere.
Again, though, we were watching from IGN, so I'm not sure if that was IGN compared to Sony.
Yeah. I'm still. I don't know. I feel really biased, but I'm gonna go for 9 out of 10 just because I seen Death Stranding. I'm a really big Kojima fan, so I'm being biased here. I seen Death Stranding. It looked great to me. I like the look of Spider-Man. Ghost of Tsushima is definitely sleep. I actually was more. It's gonna go off record now. I was more excited to see when I seen Ghost of Tsushima when I seen Death Stranding on scene, because I've never seen this Ghost of Tsushima game before.
No, I don't think.
So I was a little bit blown away by that game. Looked like a samurai film, so I was really excited by that. I'll give it an 8.5 out of 10 instead. Not quite a 9. It wasn't perfect, but Sony did deliver on. They did do what they were gonna say.
They did deliver on their promise. So we can't really sort of fault them for that. I'd probably go for a 7.5 to an 8.
Yeah. I think
Xbox gave a lot more world premieres or whatever.
Yeah.
Sony did focus on gameplay, which is what I like. But at the same time, the fact that they didn't announce many release dates, or even sort of like, because obviously we know these games have been in production for a long time. While it's not as important for some of them, like Ghost of Tsushima, I would have expected The Last of Us to get some sort of acknowledgement in that area, especially considering like the in-depth stuff they do with it.
Yeah,
but we didn't get that. We got to look at Resident Evil 2 remake with a release date on Jan the 25th, 2019.
I think that was the only thing that got a release date. That was the only one that got a solid release date, to be honest, was Resident Evil remake, and the Control one got a release year. Everything else is pretty...
Yeah, the only thing is like Spider-Man and Destiny Forsaken. Considering like the games and the gameplay we saw, you have to rate it like an 8. I'll go for an 8 because of the fact that we did get like the Squanch Games game, the Resident Evil 2 remake that we weren't expecting, Kingdom Hearts,
the new
Pirates
Kingdom
of the
Hearts
Caribbean
trailer was really good, yeah. And the package as well.
Dreams, even though it wasn't in the conference, and it was like in the coverage after from Sony, it still looked pretty decent.
Interesting concept that.
And then obviously the first party gameplay that we saw, and like the little thing of like New Game Plus coming to God of War, like that's a big thing still. As much as it was like not glossed over, but like just said in a little short bit in the middle while crossover was happening. I do believe that that's like a really important thing, that they're considering what their fans are saying and actually replying to that. Yeah. It just shows for like future games, first party games, that they obviously listen, and that's always good going forward.
Exactly, and it also shows all of these shared world companies that single player games still do matter a lot as well.
Yeah, so single player games are like probably my favourite game.
Yeah, I've never really been a
multiplayer game.
No, me neither.
I don't mind co-op. Co-op's like acceptable. I'll play co-op if it's good. Multiplayer, again, like I'll play if it's good enough, but I do feel like you lack a lot of elements of a game, especially like all the storytelling. If it's multiplayer, you lack a lot of that, and you lose a bit of the experience in it by doing that. You can't really like invest yourself in the world. You're literally just then playing for the sake of like having fun and playing with your friends, which is fine, but I think games need to realise that there's still like a single player market out there, and a big one at that. Like,
yeah, exactly.
Especially for these sort of games, and that's exactly what Sony sort of focus on, and Sony know that, and that's one of the big reasons why they're probably so successful at the moment, because of that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and that's pretty much it for our Sony PlayStation E3 reaction coverage. It's been a long one. There's a lot of it's more of a serious conference. This one was as well. I think if you listen back to our Ubisoft one, that was really fun. That one was, but Sony got down to the gameplay, very serious, very much details, developers, stuff like that. It was very much of a serious tone, wasn't it? Really, compared to like some of the other conferences, which seemed to be a bit more whimsical and fun.
Yeah, they seem to have a plan. They seem to know what they were doing with it.
Yeah.
There wasn't really any like cringeworthy stuff in there.
No.
Some people might think that like the music intros are cringeworthy, but
yeah,
for me, like if I'm displaying a game and like I'm trying to do it as a trailer, as a world premiere, like having the music and stuff, that's fine with me. Like it's just a performance that encapsulates the game. Like, so I don't see why it
and
should
to be
be
honest,
wrong.
like some of the people who were like trying to like shit on like Sony using music were the same ones that enjoyed whatever that bullshit was from Bethesda yesterday. So I'm not putting it past any of these people. Yeah, I'm not believing any of what these people say on Twitter or whatever social medias, because they enjoyed Andrew WK on the guitar yesterday doing a rage song, which was terrible. So Sony, hats off to you. You did well. Maybe next time, more release dates. Maybe a couple more games as well. But apart from that, though, I enjoyed it. That's about it, really.
Could have celebratory air horn just near the end. Like it's over now. We did the Sony bit. The only thing left now is Nintendo tomorrow, and I'm excited. Like,
yeah,
I'm
I feel like
not been as excited for a Nintendo conference in a long time. Pokemon is coming.
I feel like Nintendo's got a couple of real good surprises. I feel
like Star Fox is up their sleeve still.
We're gonna get another. I don't think you're that excited, but we're gonna finally get to see what Smash Bros looks like as well. I'm excited for that.
I'm excited to see what Smash Bros looks like.
And what characters are going to be included as well.
We know that it's probably not a port now. It's definitely a new game.
Definitely new, yeah.
That means that possibly a brand new roster and literally everything that comes with that. So there's a lot of new stuff that they need to announce. We've already got the Donkey Kong stuff out of the way from the Ubisoft conference. The fact that Star Fox was in there, but he's in a Starlink game, makes me believe that Star Fox is making a comeback still. Like the more I think about it, the more I think, why now is Ubisoft and Nintendo partner to put Star Fox in a game? Why?
Has to be some relevancy
why now?
there. Yeah,
like,
there has to be some relevancy there.
There's not been a Star Fox game in a long time. Why now? It's because a Star Fox game is coming out. I believe that. I believe what I've been hearing. It would make sense for them to bring out a game like that. They've already got Mario Tennis Aces coming up anyway. Like that game, I played that game, like the demo or the live trial for that. We had an online tournament. That's a really fun game to play.
Yeah.
I've got Odyssey again, like really fun game to play. Zelda's really fun. All great games to play.
Mm.
Pokemon is just one thing that I'm missing from my Switch now, and like even with the inclusion of the Let's Go stuff, and Pokemon Go, I'm excited because like it's an easy way to get back into the series for me. I haven't played a Pokemon game since Gen 5, I believe, so that's like a long time still. It's a lot longer than it's coming up to Gen 8 now.
Yeah.
For the Pokemon game that's released next year.
What was the last one you played? What? Black and White, X and Y, Diamond and Pearl.
Gen 4 was Diamond and Pearl.
So X and
so
Black and White.
Been I think it was Black and White, because then Black and White 2 came out after that. So yeah, Black and White, I think.
Then there was Platinum as well.
Or was it? Yeah, Black and White.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, so we're a long time sort of coming. And obviously the first 3D Pokemon game on a home console that we can play on the big screen that we've ever seen. So, like, dreams do come true.
It's gonna do come true. It's gonna be big for Nintendo tomorrow. But that's it from us, guys. 808s and Joysticks. Obviously, you can catch us on all of our socials. 808s and Joysticks. That's on IG. 808s and Joystick is on Twitter. And 808sandjoysticks.com is our website. You can catch all of our content on there, all of our artwork.
All of our social media is also linked on the website.
Yeah, are on the website. And also all of our different avenues of where to stream the podcast. All these live episodes are also on there as well. Missing anything?
Just a few more things. If you are interested in watching the Nintendo conference tomorrow, then it will be at 5 p.m. British Summer Time, 12 p.m. Eastern Time, and 9 a.m. Pacific Time. Our live coverage for that starts at 6:15 p.m. British Summer Time, 1:15 p.m. Eastern Time, and 10:15 a.m. Pacific Time. We will probably be covering that for a long time as well, depending on how long the conference goes on for and what surprises Nintendo have in store. It probably won't be an hour and a half episode like this. I feel like Sony had a lot more stuff that we've been excited about and very detailed. The Ubisoft one had a lot of exciting stuff as well that we were unaware of. So then Nintendo might bring some stuff out like this, but obviously the biggest thing to come out of this, Pokemon, has been announced. So we'll just find out a few more details about that. We may find out about Pokemon coming in 2019. Whether we do or not, it depends. But we'll see tomorrow. Like I said, if you do want to join us, then we are going to be live here on 808sandjoysticks.com at 6:15 British Summer Time, 1:15 p.m. Eastern Time, and 10:15 a.m. Pacific Time.
Yeah. And that's it from us, guys. Thanks for listening. As always, we're 808s and Joysticks. I'm Tyrell.
I'm Tom, and as always, we're going to play you out with a song now.
Southern California.
Thanks for listening.
Southern California, much like Arizona. My eyes don't shed tears, but boy, they pour when I'm thinking about you. Oh, no, I've been thinking about you. You know, Southern California, Southern California, Southern California, thinking about you, thinking about you, thinking about you, thinking about you.
Yeah, boy!
Also, the playlist is out right now. Go check it out. Apple Music and Spotify.
Yeah, just to confirm that playlist is currently out now on Apple Music and Spotify. All the artwork is up on our Instagram right now, so feel free to head over to our Instagram and check that out. All the artists are listed on the artwork as well, so if you want to go and check that out, please do. We also have our collection playlist available as well on Spotify, which is now nearing 300 songs. go listen to that if you enjoy the music that we play. Like, there's a lot more content out there for you to listen to, so definitely go do that. Once again, thanks for listening, and hopefully we'll see you tomorrow for our Nintendo coverage.